And South Africa win the first ODI against England by 27 runs. What a game. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest on this particular stream. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show because I'm going to be telling you everything that I thought throughout this game. I'm going to be talking about every single thing that I've went through during this game, my thought processes, every single thing, conversations I've had, etc. I even got the bloody wrong graphic on the screen because I'm so excited. It's the review show, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about everything that has to do, obviously, with this game. But before we get going, before we get started, I mean, I'm so happy. I can't believe that we pulled this off. I mean, exceptional clutch and X factor from our players today. I think it was a fantastic victory in the end. But there are some criticisms that I have, some things that I want to talk about specifically in the game that we could have possibly done better, etc. But I mean, we need to give the plaudits to the players and the bowlers today, particularly Amit Nokia, particularly Susanda Magala, and in the end, the final wicket, Shamo taking that final wicket. It's a lot that we need to get through on this particular show. It is a call-in show today, so I'm going to be putting the link in the live chat right now for you guys. So that you guys can call in. It's important that you guys do call in on the show to give me your thoughts. What a game! I mean, the awareness. Okay, before I get into the details, I'm just going to tell you guys a couple of things. Please subscribe to this channel. Please click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, what I would like you guys to do is please smash the like button, comment, and share. And also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. Also, if you want to help us make South African cricket or help South African cricket grow and promote South African cricket, you need to help us too. So become a patron today so that we can help grow South African cricket. We can help promote South African cricket, and we can help us grow too as a fan base, as a family that we are building over here. Also, smash the like button, comment, and share. And also click cricketfanaticsmag.com for all regular updates, reports, all of those things, etc. What a victory, guys. You can see that I'm out of breath. I was celebrating, running around the house. I was going completely nuts. So let's get straight into today's show. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the first ODI between South Africa versus England. What a game we saw. Yes, Jaitan, it is load shedding in my location currently, so I'm still trying to bring you guys a show as best as possible. I can't wait because it's only going to go on again at 10:30, so I have to give you the obviously the show right now. Oh, what a performance. Okay, I'm going to tell you everything that I think about this game. I'm going to post I did post the live chat. I'm just going to pin it to the top of the chat, of course, so that it's easier for you guys to obviously call in on the show when you guys have the opportunity to do so. Yeah, I'm not going to respond to anything, messages and stuff right now, because I obviously want to focus on the game, and I obviously want to give my best possible review that I can possibly give. But let me just pin this link to the channel right now so that I can give you guys an easier option for you guys to sign in. Let me see. Where is it now? Guys, start getting your chats in and telling me what you think about the game. I'm going to be reading them out on the channel as well. Let me just find this bloody link. Okay, here we go. Found it. And I'm going to pin it to the top of the live chat so that you guys can call in. So I'm going to give you my assessment of the game before you guys call in, please, so that we can obviously get into the discussion on everything that is happening in the match. And I want to get your views too. We've got a good up saying, what a match. What a win. Nokia showed great awareness. I can't believe it, says Tabo. Temba captaincy is top notch in this game, 100%. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Sana Magala and Nokia blew that game wide open. We were dead and buried, and those two stepped up. There's no substitute for proper pace. Yes, and also there's other factors that played its role in this as well, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Yes, it's load shedding here. I'm ecstatic. Left the game when England needed 60 to win. I can't believe it. This is what this was more of an England choke rather than we winning this game. I don't completely agree with that. I'll speak about that right now. I think Ikson needs to do something about the long tail love from India, says Jatan. This game needed Peter Drury commentary 100%. Underrated innings by Miller. Okay, I'm going to talk about that too. Is there an audio problem, guys? You guys are saying there's an audio problem. Let me know if there is an audio issue. Doesn't seem like that on my side. Is it better now? Tell me if it's better now. I was so excited when I started everything. I didn't hardly prepare. I just went live completely. So sorry if there's a little bit of an audio issue. I haven't gotten into my review quite yet. I'm just reading out some of your comments before the first starts. This was needed for confidence. I have to build from it. Magala was man. I changed the match completely. Markle should be dropped. Stubbs can become that 6 in the bowling option. England threw it away. Their hyper-aggressive approach backfired. But that's the way they play the game. Okay, so let me give you my assessment. The game started, and beforehand, I spoke about my 11. I specifically said that I want to see an extra spinner, and I said specifically that I want to see Lungingidi in, and I also said I want to see Marco Jansen in because of the batting aspect of the game, so that we can deepen our tail a bit, because I think Parnell batting at 7 is a little bit too high for him. That was my particular lineup that I wanted to pick. I also spoke to some locals about the conditions, etc. And I heard that it was going to be a slow wicket, of course, and I heard that there was some rain around the ground as well. So there would have been a little bit of nip around or swing up front. So with regards to us batting first, at first I was thinking, you know what, we should have rather bowled. We should have rather bowled first at first. And then I started watching us bat, and I thought, whoa, we are putting on a great partnership here. We're building an innings. We're looking on the way to 300. But then our batting got into a little bit of trouble, like it always has in the past. We lost a couple of quick wickets. We got ourselves into a little bit of trouble. Rassie van der Dussen put on a brilliant knock in the middle overs. I wish it was a little bit faster. Of course, the strike rate, that was 90 odd, which is decent in ODI cricket. But if you really want to kick on, you obviously want to put 350 on the board, etc. You want to score big scores. We can't be having necessarily batters batting this slow. But this is a slight criticism because it was an excellent knock from Rassie van der Dussen. Actually kept the whole team together, and he batted deep. The same with Miller. I felt that he could have kicked on a little bit faster, but the wicket was a bit slow. It was big boundaries as well. Although they brought in the boundary ropes 10 to 15 meters in from what it normally is. So it was smaller, actually, the ground than it previously at Bloemfontein. Now, the average score on Bloemfontein was 286, I think it was. I think the highest chase ever was 274 on this ground. Shows that stats is very important in cricket. Stats also need to be read in the right way as well. It shows that in cricket, stats are very important. Then the way we batted, in general, I would say we threw our wickets away. I think Markram threw his wicket away. I think that both Quinny and Temba Bavuma threw their wickets away. I think to an extent, Annie Klaassen threw his wicket away. They all got good starts, but they didn't kick on. And it was crucial for Miller, the partnership of Miller and Rassie van der Dussen, to get us into a decent total to defend. Then it came to our bowling. And my concerns were always KG and Parnell in this team because of the particular wicket. Now, when I go in and pick an 11 when it comes to cricket, I don't have a preconceived idea of, I'm just talking personally here, I don't have a preconceived idea of what the 11 is going to be beforehand completely. What I do beforehand is I first check the conditions, I first check the records on the ground, I see who's previously played there and be successful and has been successful. And if there are a couple of players within the same kind of realm that have been successful on that particular ground, I will try to look in our squad and see who's the best players in our squad that can probably mimic that. Because in cricket, conditions play a massive part in your selection. You when you talk about um, when you talk about players and you're picking players with regards to um, a specific condition, obviously certain players can exploit that with their specific skills. Now, so for example, um, I felt that the bowling lineup did put us under a little bit pressure because KG Rabada and Parnell in the first opening overs, especially in the power play in their first spell, they bowled very full. They kind of bowled into Jason Roy's hands and the opening partners and the opening pair's hands. They bowled very full down leg side, not very consistent. When they needed to bowl a lot more slower deliveries on this pitch, they needed to bowl a lot more. Um, they needed to bowl more back of the length deliveries and maybe the shorter delivery that gets you by chin height and shoulder height that traps you in your crease and makes it hard for you to play the pull shot and to cut cut the balls. And in this particular instance, I think that Marco Janssen's cutters would have been perfect. Coming in, steaming in, cutting it in, trapping those guys in the crease. So one of the changes I would have probably made was Marco Janssen for Wayne Parnell. And I would have given Lungingiri an opportunity over Rabada because I felt that Rabada needed a bit of a rest. But this is why I'm a fan and I'm not a coach. I'm a fan of the game. I analyze it based on the stats, based on the conditions, talking to people at the ground, and that is me. I'm not in the camp. I can't feel the people's energies. I can't look at the players, see if they're ready. Shukri went with his lineup, he backed it, and this team got him over the line. Now, does it mean that he didn't make any mistakes? Perhaps. Now, in this particular match, I think, particularly on a wicket that's a little bit slower, when it comes to picking someone like the Bray Shamsi, I feel it's always going to be a risk. He's a risk spinner. He can go for a couple of runs, and that's just bound to happen when it comes to risk spinners. They always are a risk. But when on a wicket that is slow, I would preferably play two spinners if I'm going to play Shamsi. Because I feel that Shamsi, if you're going to play him as a wicket taker, he's going to have to take a risk to try and make the batsman play and hence go for runs. That's just going to happen. But if you play another spinner with him that can hold up another end and put pressure on the opposition, that's when he can really be exploited and really come to his fold. And that's where he really stands out and shines. So that's just my opinion with regards to that. And with regards to picking certain players according to the conditions. Now, if they played Keshev, I felt maybe Shamsi wouldn't have been so much under pressure. They wouldn't have felt forced to bowl or mark him so early. And a lot of decisions that were made wouldn't have been forced. For example, Magala bowled beautifully. In my opinion, almost it was the man of the match because of the way when he bowled, when he took the wickets to obviously open up this game completely and put us on the edge to win this match. I've and I think it was a magnificent performance from those two bowlers, Andrik Nokia and Magala. One was striking, bowling with pace, and I always said that. And in my preview, I mentioned it as well. I said, you pick Andrik Nokia, even though it's a slow wicket, and he's going to be running in, and he's going to be steaming in, and putting those deliveries on the wicket. There's always going to be a chance that he's going to take one because of his pace and his ability to be able to keep the ball consistently on spots. He does that very, very well. Once the pressure is on him, once he feels that the batter's under pressure, he knows how to push that batter to make a mistake. And I think he rushed batters today. He made it very difficult for England's long tail to actually hit the ball out. And on this stage, as the game went along, you needed to run more ones and twos, etc. And they were trying to hit the ball out of the square, trying to play baseball cricket, and it just didn't come off. So all in all, I think a brilliant, very important and brilliant win for South Africa. Do I ever think that they need to bring Lungi into the next game? Because I feel bringing Lungi into the next game, this wicket would have suited him perfectly. He has six in his previous game that he's played here. He took 6 for 58, I think it was. He was excellent in that particular game. So it was amazing to see how Magala stepped up. And I knew that Magala would possibly be a threat on this particular wicket because of the heavy balls he bowls. Magala is a very deceiving bowler. He runs in very slowly, and you don't expect the ball to rush you as much as he does. I've asked a lot of domestic cricketers, top domestic cricketers, who's some of the hardest bowlers that you've faced in the domestic scene, and a lot of them have said Magala because he's so deceiving. So excellent for Magala. Under pressure, guys, the pressure he had to play under today. We knew it was a must-win game.
There was a lot of pressure on him to perform. It's also he was brought in as a newbie into this team. What a performance today! And Nokia, congratulations, brother. You deserve all the plaudits that you are getting. Kagiso Rabada as well. The way you pulled it back, fantastic. I mean, I was saying, why did they pick Rabada? He's looking tired. He's all of these things, and look how he pulled it back. Even though we started off very poorly, he pulled it back beautifully. So fantastic for him today. Let's talk about the Bray Shamsi. So Shamsi was extremely expensive today, and he needs to be criticized for being expensive. But I also think that it was a risk. It could go either way. Some of those could have been wickets, and he obviously took a lot of risk, bowled a lot of variations, and went for quite a bit of runs. But in the end, he took the final wicket to win the game, which was so crucial for us winning the game because Adil Rashid can bat. Let's not look at it as if that he just took a number 11 batter's wicket and it's a small thing. South Africa have always struggled to take out the tail and win. Shamo came back beautifully, and we need to give him credit for that. But that's just the X factor that a wrist spinner gives you within a team. Um, Yeah. Look here, Lorenzo, I have to also say to you, I didn't mean to be like come across as rude to you or harsh to you. And the way our discussion was going on Twitter, I don't think it was very going to be conducive of either of us. I think we were both maybe just misreading each other. So I apologize to you live on the show. Um, I don't want to continue that conversation there. I think maybe we should continue the conversation here and maybe talk if you can call in and we can have a decent, calm discussion, not over Twitter, because words can be misleading, words can be misstrued. I was a bit irritated with that other Imran guy talking about the race again, and it might have peeved me off again because your points were actually coming into the conversation and actually backing up what he was trying to do, which you didn't know. So I apologize to you, bro. I didn't mean anything bad, but I would like you to call in and we can continue this conversation, bro. Um, yeah. So let's continue this. I've got a couple of callers. I've given my little review. I need to calm down a bit and listen to some of the callers and what they have to say. Let's first caller in is Sadiq. Welcome to the show, brother. What would you like to say?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm well. What about you?
I'm okay. I'm ecstatic. It's a massive win for South
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah. We all are happy. Obviously, a very good win from nowhere. They were buried and out, and then suddenly, Magala and Note J just they had the other ideas and they just patched it up, and then you know, wonderful win, a very big win. But I wanted to talk about a little bit about processes, as they say that cricket is not all about results; it's about what processes they follow.
Mm-hmm.
So starting from the toss, obviously, I think the decision to bat first was 50-50 probably
Mm-hmm.
because
50-50, yeah.
under light it gets better to bat in Bloemfontein usually, and
Yes.
then in playing 11 you can say that probably the balance was out. Betting Parnell at 7, people will say that no, it's not a big deal having six batters, but the impact the seventh batter has,
Mm.
I mean, on the batsman, as a batsman, when you walk at 5 or 6 and you know that there are guys behind me who can bat, they just free you up to play your natural game. So
Yeah.
that was probably out, and then batsmen just throwing their wickets away. I like the intent Temba showed initially. That was
Yes.
wonderful. And, very very excited to see that intent from a captain. And I thought that probably this is the way now the team will work, and good thing to have. But it did not happen that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
You still there? Oh, he's disappeared. Okay, unfortunately, he's disappeared. Kelly, I want you to come on the show. This is going to be a long one. You probably can stay on with me, Kelly, so that we can talk to the fans together. Let's talk about this because we were continuously chatting throughout the game about this game, going back and forth about what we think should have happened, what we think should have been done, etc. We had debates about the starting lineups, etc. So, your take on this match? How are you feeling now? And let's start talking about this.
Firstly, my apologies. It's been load shedding here, and I'm pretty much in the dark. But
Yeah.
at least I have a USP for or UPS, sorry, USP,
UPS.
UPS for this. It was a great comeback, honestly. The thing is, the way the guys were in the field, their body language suggested something different to the test matches. At no point did you feel the game was actually over. I mean, someone did mention in the group chat that it was 2 or 3 wickets away from things changing completely.
Hmm.
And the great thing about the performance was that, I was disappointed during the test series, especially by the players seeming to give up. And even in when bad deliveries were bowled here, they came back and they took wickets. I mean, Amlak went for a few runs, didn't matter. Figured out what he did wrong and immediately made a change. Sisi Magala hasn't played international cricket for a while, and he was the one to initiate the change. I mean, after he and Nokia came on, the whole outlook sort of, the balance changed. It felt like, suddenly there's new energy, and it seemed to rub off on the other players.
Yeah.
Suddenly the fielding was sharper and the other bowlers were sharper, and if they did bowl a bad ball, they also corrected themselves again later. So that's the most impressive thing for me.
Yeah. That's excellent. Okay, Kelly, I'm just going to keep you on the show. We're going to continue this conversation. I want to speak to Lorenzo because I have to apologize to him as well. Lorenzo, welcome to the show, brother. Just first and foremost, the way the Twitter conversation was going, it wasn't going in the right direction. I think we both were like getting each other misunderstood over there. So let's just have a conversation. First and foremost, tell me how you feel about this, and then we can continue the conversation on here. I would like you to stay on as well if you want to. But first and foremost, how are you feeling, bro, about this win?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, no. Apologies also, man. I think things got a bit a bit heated there. Yeah. But I think it was the other guy they tried to talk about stuff that wasn't necessary and was ridiculous, to be honest. Yeah. But no, apologies from my side also. If you come into the game, I think well, let's start with the batting. I think we started well with Quinny and Timber, and I feel that is the best position where Timber can bat. I think for me, you should open the batting with Quinny the cock. It's a bit, you know, it's a bit. I feel it's a bit unfair. Not unfair, but I think Riza is a bit hard done by here because he didn't play at the World Cup. Now he's not playing this series, so I just feel for him. But unfortunately, this is international cricket. He's a big boy. He'll get over it. But I just feel this is where Timber should bat. Just open the batting with Quinn de Kock, and then Rassi van der Dussen. What else can I say with Rassi van der Dussen? People who say Rassi van der yes.
Before you move on from the opening part, I don't want to interrupt you here. I want to because you say a lot of good points, but all in like one sentence. So I want to like break it down. Yeah. Let's just talk about that opening partnership. My opinion over here, or my observation of this is, I feel that Quinny, I think that Timber, I've always said it on the channel, I feel that Timber can bring out the best in Quinny because of the way he approaches his game. I saw that Timber has changed his stance as well. He's probably been working with a batting coach. I don't know who it is. I would like to find out who it is. His stance is wider. He's not moving as much in the crease as well. So he looked a lot more assured of which shots he's going to play than before. He looked a little bit like in between, should cut or should drive or should pull. And because of the way he was standing in his crease, etc., and his technique before, he's not moving as much in his crease. We saw this happen with Hashim. I'm not comparing the two players, but we saw this happening with Hashim Amla too early on in his career. Later on, he changed his technique, was a lot stiller in his crease, didn't move as much. I've seen that little tweak in his technique. But do you also feel that Timba's calm head, he's running between the wickets, takes pressure off the likes of Quinny to really push on? You're muted, bro.
So,
oops, I'm muted.
But first of all, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
Okay, but first of all, I must say, let's just get it straight here. Justin Simmons had absolutely nothing to do with Timber's
Don't
way
touch that
how
on
he
that.
stand now at the crease. None of that. Right. So let's just get that out of the way. But yeah, but I think the guy who worked with Timber, clearly the guy did do his homework. Let's be honest, Timber doesn't want to be left behind. The game is moving forward. So he's not a huge guy. He's not a muscly guy. So he must do things in his own specific way to be competitive at this level, right? So you can't go to the gym and build up muscle because he's never going to have huge muscles, right? So I feel the way the batting coach worked with him, the one he went to, definitely not Justin Simmons, but the one he went to, I think he saw something in Timber where he could be more fluent at the crease um, and be more attacking with a positive mindset. And I think that worked well today. Hopefully, it can continue. I've always said that the one-day format for me is Timber's best format. Yes, he's been brilliant in Test cricket for the past 2 seasons. But ODI cricket for me is where he is his best format because rotation of strike, let's be honest, in ODI cricket is very, very important. It takes a
Especially on this
lot of
ground,
pressure. Yes, it's a huge ground. Yes, they brought. Yeah, I heard something, a commentary that they brought the boundaries in a couple of meters, but it's still a huge ground. So for me, and it also takes a lot of pressure of Timber. And you spoke about it a lot on your show that Timber and yes, in T20 cricket maybe it's not working.
No.
Okay, not maybe. Like it's
not
definitely
working.
not working. Yeah, it's definitely not working in T20 cricket. But in ODI cricket, I think is the perfect partnership because Tema actually is a calm head. He can keep Coney. We all know Coney when he's thinking about fishing, what he's going to do tomorrow. He just coaching and throws wicket away. Tema is there to keep him calm and say, look here, we're in a battle here. We need to win this ODI series, not to go to Zimbabwe. We can have a rest. So why should we go to Zimbabwe? And that qualifies, you can go fishing, then we don't have to play qualifiers. So I personally think that he brings a sort of sense of calmness to Colin Cock. And I think that partnership will boast as well moving forward to the World Cup. Because let's be honest, for me, Timber, I might go off topic here about my captaincy, but for me, I feel he's the right guy for me personally in ODI cricket to take us forward. I think, and as I said, that the opening slot it's between Timber and it's the Cock. That's it. No one else.
Okay. Kelly, is there anything that you want to say to Lorenzo on this or on this topic before we move on to the next position?
I actually like the opening partnership. If Quinny's going to open, you do need an opening partner that's going to keep Quinny away. Because you need he's not going to be the talkative one. He's not going to drive the plan. He's not going to remember what the plan is. He's just, I mean, if you ever watch press conferences with him, I don't think he remembers what happens in the game. He just bats in the zone. I think it's the good thing about Timber is the energy that he bats with. You know he's going to be talking to Quinton after every third ball, and he's going to be sort of pumping him up. He's going to be reminding him what to do. He's going to be the same way, well, maybe to a slightly lesser extent, but in the field, I mean, he's a ball of energy. And you saw Quinton struggle a bit with his focus when he was batting the T20s with Reza. And while Reza was excellent, Quinton drifted. I don't think that they gelled. So that's partly another reason why. Look, I wouldn't keep Timber out of the ODI team at all. I mean, he looks especially good today, and it's a pity he couldn't convert that start.
Yeah,
because he really does look like he's spent the last month or so working.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. If you guys can do some digging, the guys in the live chat, if you guys can do some digging, maybe there's some videos online that we maybe missed, where you can maybe get a hint of or to see who Timber was batting with. I don't know if he posted any footage, but I think as fans, maybe sometimes, I'm not the guys necessarily on the call or in the live chat here. I'm just talking generally here. I think sometimes we forget about the humanistic aspect of sportsmen and what makes them tick. I asked Shukri that specifically in the interview because some players need different help than others. Some maybe need a shouting to. Sometimes we need an arm around. I use my manager my ex-manager at United as an example. I know Lorenzo don't want to hear this, but I use Alex Ferguson sometimes as an example. Sometimes when he wanted to go at David Beckham, he would go at Ryan Giggs and shout at Ryan Giggs about something that David Beckham did. But indirectly, David's listening to this and saying, "Oh no, if I don't perform here and I do the same mistakes, then I'm gonna get a hair dry treatment." And then in the next half, goal, assist, or whatever the case may be, wins the game for them. So some players need different help or different motivation. And Quinny is a type of person that drifts. As you saw it, guys, the clip that we posted on the Cricket Fanatics magazine of Quinton de Kock in the press conference of the SA20, the captain's press conference. He was sitting there crushing jelly beans, sorry, while Faf du Plessis was talking, and everybody was just having a look at him. Everybody got to give the facts. All the captains got a packet of jelly beans for free on the table with I think a bottle of water and stuff, and he was busy there crushing it then on the table and everybody caught that on video. So he's a drifter.
You can't let him fidget. There can't be things on the table.
That's why he must be wicketkeeper and not in the field, because otherwise he's just going to...
He needs a talkative partner. Like, you can't put him there with one of your quiet guys or somebody who's concentrating on his own batting. I mean, even with Riley, he was questionable. You actually need someone who cares about how Quinton bats as well as how he bats himself.
100%.
So
I agree with that.
You have to have a guy there who's thinking of the bigger picture. And I'm not saying that Riley or Reza won't, but at the time they were also playing for their spots.
Yeah.
And they possibly didn't have as, and it was a different format, but it's the only real comparison that I can make at this point, because those are the only recent partners that he's had opening. And then, well, there's Yannaman. Yannaman's not going to talk much.
Yeah.
So
Kelly, I'm just going to stop you quickly, and before we continue this conversation, because I know Lorenzo maybe doesn't have a lot of time, so I'm just want to get him to get through all his points first, and then we can continue. Go. So Lorenzo, can you please the next point?
Yeah, I feel we have to give credit to our bowlers. I think we didn't start well. Let's be honest. I think Parnell and the KG, I felt they drifted a bit straight on the pads. It was easy pickings for the likes of David Malan, Jason Roy, who's still quality players. And I just feel annoying that Jason Roy couldn't even got the flip all off the square in the AC20, but he scored 100 against us. It's just so annoying, and we see it all the time. There's always this one player when it comes to South Africa or plays against South Africa who's out of form, but he comes in and scores 100 or he wins the game for his team. Luckily, I think we didn't win today. Yeah, that's cricket. As you also said on Twitter, we all fans here. I think we get predictions wrong. We can say stuff that might be right, that might be wrong, but who cares? I think all of us have an opinion at the end of the day, and no one's right and no one's wrong. So I just feel that, back to the game, I just feel the bowlers did exceptionally well today. I was just Temba. This is what I say, guys. Temba is a great captain, man. He's an absolute fantastic captain. The way he captained today, I feel that when he brought Tabaré Shamsi back for the 2 overs in the middle, after the first one, today I'm gonna be honest, guys. Right? I'm a straight shooter. I say things how it is. I'm not gonna toss my words. Right? Today we could see from the first 2 overs, Tabaré Shamsi was not on his game today. Let's be clear. He was not on his game. So in the middle, when Temba brought, and this is my only criticism of Temba today regarding his captaincy, when he brought Tabaré Shamsi back for that 2 overs in the middle overs, after the first over in his second spell, you could see Josh Butler is lining him up, and he was just flighting the ball to Josh Butler, and Josh was just hitting through the line. He was not even bowling wrongans or flippers. He was just normal left-arm Chinaman balls, floating it up, and Butler just swing through the line and hit a few sixes and a couple of fours. Then that day was the moment he should have brought maybe a Parnell back. After that, maybe bring a Parnell back, or maybe bring Magala back, because Magala still had a lot of overs left to come back. So that is my only criticism regarding that. But all in all, I think, just my last point, Khalid, I really think South Africa, if we're going on this trend regarding our batting, I think me personally, I think we're getting left behind. That's just my honest opinion. The approach, it was a flat wicket today. The batters got themselves in and they got themselves out. Klaassen, the Cock, as well as Bavuma, they got themselves out. So I personally think, I think, yes, we can't criticize. Definitely, we can't criticize Sukri Conrad or Rob Walter. Definitely not. But I just don't want this bull that what's his name Mark Bouter spoke about. And I was Boucher in right from the start. I was Boucher in, you know it. But as I said, I say things out east currently, right? So when Mark Boucher was coach, he talked about smart, aggressive cricket. Just tell me, Khalid, quickly here. Did we ever see smart, aggressive cricket from the Proteas? What he spoke about.
No, we
Exactly.
Because smart has got to do with reading the conditions correctly. Now, the difference between South Africa and England bowled a lot better in the power play than we did. We bowled terribly in the power play. I mean, KG and Wayne Parnell were making it very easy for both batters to score. You can see we progressively got better just by looking at David Malan's strike rate. They all started in a strike rate about a 120. And then they slowly, David Malan got worse and worse. Yes, bringing in Shamsi is always going to be a risk. And that's what I say about wrist spinners in general. Whenever you have a wrist spinner only in your team, because you only have him in your team, it's going to come off or it's not going to come off. You don't know when that X factor is going to kick in or someone's going to misplay a ball. There were a couple of beautiful deliveries amongst the crap that Shamsi bowled. And that's just how it works with the spinners in general, I feel. So I think what could have tipped this game completely on its head was the fact that the way we bowled up front. That was the part. I think we would have won this game by a lot more if we got it a lot closer in that opening overs. I mean, we shouldn't have conceded the amount that we conceded in the power play. I feel that we could have, if we had someone like Lungi, for example, and Rabada opening the bowling, I think we would have had a much better power play and we would have put a lot more pressure on England to score runs.
And I agree with you. And I agree with you in what you said earlier. Sorry, guys, I know I'm rambling on here, but I agree with you.
What you said earlier. Show, so go ahead.
I agree with what you said earlier. Of Keshav Maharaj should have played as well, just to take a lot more pressure off, Tabraiz Samsi, because I feel Tabraiz always bowls better when there's the other spinner at the other end. It ties up one end, and he just can come in attack. Yes, we all know a wrist spinner is going to go for runs, right? Wrist spinners is one of the most difficult art of bowling there is, So I feel that playing Kesh for me in the next match, I think that's a must. We should, because let's be honest, what's his name? I didn't mark him. It does at international level. It hasn't worked out yet to be a part-time spinner like a JP Dumini was. JP Dumini was a lot better. So I just feel we have to play two spinners. I think two spinners also brings more, on certain conditions dependent, of course, bring more balance to our team, right? But
of course.
If you think further, for example, in the next series, I feel that yes, 100%, I agree. Tabraiz Samsi is our number one spinner, right? So he's always going to play, right? He's going to play. But personally, moving forward against the West Indies and beyond the World Cup, I feel that Keshav Maharaj is not our second spinner. It may be harsh, but I personally feel he's not our best second spinner going around, right? You could argue.
I agree with you right now.
Yeah, you could argue currently the best. Yes, the best spinner in terms of bowling right now is probably Bloemfontein, right? But if you look at more of a balanced situation, where you fit in Tabraiz Samsi and for example, at the World Cup, right? Saigi of London and beyond, keep it up to the World Cup, right? Then Samsi plays, because obviously you're going to play two spinners in India. You're not going to you're not going to play one, right? So you play two spinners. So for me personally, I would go for, yes, Bjorn is the better outright spin bowler, marginally, than George Linder. But for balance, I would select George Linder because it gives you more of the bat as well. He can come in at number 7 or at number 8, and he can get you a quick 40 of 20 balls or 18 balls. He can do it. Currently, he showed it in the SA20 against good quality bowlers that he can play that game. For me, he's the better batsman. Yes, Bloemfontein might show it in finals or semi-finals that he have that little, but more consistently, George Linder showed more what he can do with the bat. And we saw it in India as well when he played in the Test series in 2018, I think in 2019 when we toured India. He actually performed with the bat. He scored some runs along with Sinarun with the Sami also, who was also on that tour, who scored some runs. So I feel that currently, if you look forward, I think, and let's be honest, there was a show. I think it was yesterday where people said that so close to World Cup, why would you drop this certain player and this certain player? Let's be honest. Leading up to I think it was a 2020 World Cup in Abu Dhabi, right? Leading up to that T20 World Cup, George Linder played all the games. He played in West Indies. He played all the games leading up to that World Cup, and he opened the bowling. Yes, his batting was poor, especially in the West Indies. He didn't score runs, but he opened the bowling and he took wickets, right? And when the squad was announced, suddenly Bloemfontein as well as Kesav Maharaj leapfrogged him into the World Cup squad, which I found to this day was absolutely ridiculous. But that's why I say that it happened before, so we mustn't sit here and say no, but it can't happen again, because it might happen again. So that's why I say my two best spinners currently, if you look forward, would be my number one spinner, Tabai Samji, and my number two spinner, Geert Linder. And he actually bring more balance to our team, especially white ball cricket.
The thing is, I actually don't think Geert Linder and Bloemfontein are that close in terms of bowling skill. I actually think Bloemfontein is the much better bowler. I wouldn't.
It's all about opinion, eh?
Look, at the moment, I wouldn't play if you were playing one slow left arm with one spinner. I would not use Geert Linder as a sole spinner. I would only play him if we were playing two spinners.
Okay, I agree with you in terms. Okay, might not agree with you fully, but okay. Let me give you a scenario, right? Bloemfontein, we bowl first, right? Bloemfontein goes for 60 runs. He takes 1 wicket, right? But he can't give you many with the bat, right? Now Geert Linder, we bowl first. He goes for 60 runs. He take 1 wicket. But Geert Linder can give you something with the bat as well. So wouldn't you lean to the guy who can give you more in terms of output, in terms of the guy or ahead of the guy that only can give you one certain aspect of output?
I don't think Linder's batting is as consistent as the scenario you're making it out to be. There's a possibility that he can do it, but he's not going to do it as regularly as you might think. I mean, as you pointed out, when he was playing...
But Kelly showed it, though. He showed it. Okay, Kelly, let's call a spade a spade. Who's the better batter between you two?
Of course, Linder's the better batter.
Exactly. But now that's what I'm saying.
I think the thing is, though, look, I rate them both. I am just saying that if we play one slow left arm, one spinner situation, I would not play Linder as that one spinner. I think that if Linder plays, it needs to be one of two spinners.
Okay, and I'm not I'm not fighting with you or attacking you right now. None of that. We're having a conversation there, right? But let's weigh themselves up, right? Geert Linder or Bloemfontein. People say Bloemfontein can bowl with a new ball. Yes, 100% he can bowl with a new ball. But so can George. George showed it before the T20 World Cup in the West Indies. He opened the bowling and he did exceptionally well against Evan Lewis, Fletcher, against all those guys, right? So there's one box ticks for them both, right? Both can bowl with a new ball and both can do well with a new ball. Secondly, both are excellent fielders. You can't tell me Bjorn is better than Linder in the field. You can't tell me Linder is better than Bjorn in the field, right? But if you look at what is the one thing that sets them apart, if you look at it, you're gonna say Linder is apart from Bjorn with the bat. He'll give you more output in terms of
so
that.
Let me just add another scenario, not the scenario, another aspect into the game or another part into the game. With the scenario that you're suggesting over here, obviously batting him at 8 or 7, right? You don't actually want your number 7 and 8 to come in and bat regularly, consistently, every single game. You want 100%. Your top order. You want your top order to bat. Now, when it comes to clutch moments, big moments, semi-finals, finals, etc., when it comes with the bat, Bjorn has come off every single time, almost every single time. whether it is in the 4-day arena where he scored 180
100%.
in a must-win game. A lot of pressure on you. Just remember that, the pressure that's on you. Then he's done it in T20 games for the Rocks. He's done it for T20 games. He hasn't necessarily fully done it with the Royals yet. He almost did it with the Royals. And then he did it in the One Day Cup too with the Lions, winning that game with an 80 in a clutch moment. Linda has scored runs, yes, and he scored runs, but he scores runs here and there. And sometimes in matches where he doesn't really take him over the line. And that's my only problem. That is my problem with Linda. And it's my problem with a lot of our finishers in our game. They score 60s or 50 in a must-win game, but they don't take the team over the line. That's why I respected about Faf's. That's what I respected about Faf du Plessis' innings so much. He didn't only score 100.
Yeah.
He took the team over the line. And that's very important for our players, that we need to get into for the future. I don't want to talk about the past now. I want to talk about going into the future, picking the correct players going forward. This is why I believe that Marco should start over Wayne Parnell. I think Marco's mentality, his mental strength, his ability to play under pressure is much better than Wayne Parnell. Wayne Parnell in the past has crumbled under pressure in a lot of occasions. And I think that between the two, Marco is the better batter, and that's why I go with Marco, for example, that position.
No, exactly, Khalid. Now check. Now, there you said it. Marco's the better batter than Parnell. So now, why can't we have the same energy now with Linda? No, because Linda is the better batter than Bloemfontein. Let's call it spade a spade.
Okay. But
come on, guys. Let's not make it difficult for ourselves.
No. I'm not making it difficult.
I just feel sometimes
I'm not making it difficult. You said you have an opinion. Just because you have an opinion, it doesn't mean that your opinion's right. And I have an opinion, and doesn't mean my opinion's right. So
can I respond?
So let me just finish my point first. So when I said with regards to number 7, Jansen's going to bat 7, right? I think he should be number 7 for South Africa. When we talk about George Linder, we talk about him batting 6 and 5. He bats 5 and 6.
No, not 6.
He has more.
I'm talking about 6 for the Proteas.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. In domestic cricket, he bats 5 and 6. He bats higher up the order, has more opportunities to bat, comes in earlier, has more chances to score runs. Bloemfontein,
let's be honest, because the Blitz doesn't have batters. That's why it's batting 6. It
doesn't matter about the reasons. It's the reality. With regards to Bloemfontein comes in much lower down, has less opportunities to bat, but when he needs to bat, he performs and wins matches for the team. That's what. So when it comes to that, that's my point on Bloemfontein. And the winning mentality that this boy has, I think that needs to take. It's like in a clutch moment, for example, when if you have a situation I'm using a different sport, but I was watching a podcast the other day with Rio Ferdinand, Stevenhausen, and Joe, and they were talking about in a clutch moment situation when you need to score a goal. And you put Ronaldo in a weak team, and you put Messi in a weak team, not the Barcelona team that won them multiple trophies. Who would you put your life on to score the winning goal for you? It's those type of scenarios I'm talking about. Majority of people would say Ronaldo in that case.
First of all,
to score a winning goal. So at 8, because we're talking about at 8, where they probably will bat if they're going to be in this team between
100%.
7 and 8. The chances of them it's more about the bowling than the batting for me in that particular occasion. So yes, but on the flip side, I'm good with either or. I don't hate either player. I know both of them very well personally, and I know their personalities. And that's my thing. It can be either or.
And that's my
point. I don't
point.
think it's categorically George and categorically beyond. I think it could be either or.
100%. Yes, and that's what I'm going to say. It can be either or. But in terms of the Marco Jansen and as well as Wayne Parnell scenario or example you just made, let's be honest, right? You said Marco Jansen is the better batter than Parnell, which I agree 100%. I'm not going to dispute that. But throughout his career, Parnell has won more games than Marco Jansen, right? Obviously, because he's obviously, yeah, exactly, Kelly. That's why I was. Let me continue.
Apples and pears.
No, it's not comparing apples. Let me continue. I was gonna say, obviously, Wayne Parnell has played a lot more. He's a lot older than Marco Jansen, right? But
he's 10 years older.
Exactly. But I was gonna say that also. Why are you cutting me off? Kelly, can you calm down? Can you calm down, please?
Kelly, just let me talk first.
Because you do this in Twitter as well. You just run to conclusions and all of that. My point I'm trying to make is, right, if you call us betting an 8, right, that's the most generalized position. What's his name? Geert Blinde is going to bet, as well as Bloemfontein going to bet, right? They're going to bet 8 if they play in the team, right? So
no, possibly not, because if you have possibly not. So it depends on what you're gonna. So that's why I said it depends on conditions and a lot of other things.
for me, it depends on two, Khalid. If
No,
Geert
not
Blinde plays, he
necessarily.
bets.
So
If
not
Geert Blinde plays, he
necessarily.
bets 8.
Maybe
If he can't bet 7, he bets 8. Björn is not
yes,
betting
maybe.
with the bet.
No, with the maybe he bets at 8. Yes, but then what about Magala? You could push Magala in at 8 as well. Then you have an extra batting
No,
option and a bowler, and then you can bat Bjorn and bowl Bjorn at 9. Why not?
Okay, but if Geert Blinde and Magala is in the same team, I bet Geert Blinde 8 if he can't bet 7. Ahead of Magala, that's 100%.
Yes, but dependable on
100%.
conditions. So if you're going to play 2 spinners, then obviously the difference is going to change there in that scenario. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yes, no, you're right. If you speak about World Cup, then it's going to change 100%.
So let's talk India. Let's talk about India.
Let's talk India.
So let's look at India, right? If you've got India and you want to and you're going to play 2 spinners, right? Are you saying
we're going to play? It's definite.
Yeah, and
it's
yes,
definite.
and we play 2 spinners, right? And we're gonna play 2 spinners. The lineup is going to be dependable on a lot of factors. You're gonna look at the conditions, and you're going to decide who are your bet bowlers on that particular ground. So according to those particular bowlers, the batting is going to obviously shift. Now, are you going to go with the experience in Parnell? Because if you play Parnell, I feel that he's an 8, not a 7. When you play Marco Jansen, he's probably a 7 and he can play a 7 and he can play 8. Now they're not.
I play Marco Jansen.
Yeah, so you play Marco Jansen. So now Marco Jansen's your 7. You're not going to move him to 8, right?
No.
So then at 8, you can possibly play 6. So Linde bats 8 for you, and then 9 goes.
Yes.
And then 9 for you.
Okay, the bowlers. Let's be honest, right? Realistically, if you look at it currently, 7 Marco Jansen, 8 Geert Blinde, 9 Kagiso Rabada, 10 Anrik Nokia, and 11 Tabrei Samsi. So what are we on about?
Okay, that can work. So
exactly.
So
what's wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't say anything's wrong with that.
Oh, yeah.
I just said that you're picking him as a bowler, though. I know you're picking him because he's batting slightly better. But the chances, but the chances are he's not going to bat.
No, that's but the chances are he's going to bat because we crap in the batting.
No, so if you so you're not going to go into a World Cup thinking, oh, we crap with the batting, so I'm going to pick my better batter this winner.
Okay,
that's not how you're going to think about it.
Okay, Khalid. Let's talk cricket, right? Let's talk cricket. Why don't you want to go with the spinner that can give you more output with a bat and ball than the spinner that can only give you output with ball and in the field? And not all 3. It doesn't make sense.
But Bjorn can give
no, but he's not a better batsman than Geert Blinde. Let's call a spade, guys. Come on now, let's not beat around the bush here, man.
So do you think it's a fluke?
This is not how you pick your bowlers.
It's a fluke that he scored runs in crunch moments? You think that's a fluke?
Okay, Khalid, do us a favor. Put all the stats of Bloemfontein in ODI cricket, not ODI cricket, 1-day cricket, T20 cricket, and 4-day cricket, and compare it to Geert Blinde, please, man. Just do that. Put it on the screen that all of us can see it.
So what you're not getting here is that they bat in
I get
different
what you're saying,
positions.
Khalid.
You can't. So it's like you're comparing. It's like comparing a number 6 batsman.
It's not comparing apples with pears because you like saying that also. It's not that.
Though.
It's a cricket. Okay, so you're telling me Geert Blinde and Geert Blinde is a crap cricketer.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I didn't say he's a crap cricketer.
Come on.
Did I ever say that, bro?
Why are you putting words in my mouth? No, I'm not putting words in my mouth. Compare to Bloemfontein. It can be either or, but I am going for Geert Blinde because he can bat as well. Both are great fielders, both are great bowlers, and the one can bat better.
You're comparing a number 7
Come
batter
on, man. Both are in form.
Number 8 batter, sorry. You're comparing a number 8 batter to a number 5 batter, and you're telling me to compare their stats. How does that make
number 8 batter
sense?
and number 5 batter?
Yes, in domestic cricket. Bjorn bats at 8.
Oh, domestic.
Geert Blinde bats at 5. You comparing
but of course, Geert Blinde.
Different...
Okay, so tell me quickly, Khalid. Is Geert Blinde going to bet 6 for South Africa, but he's going to bet 6 for domestic cricket? The standards is different. We all rave about, the standards is this and this. He's not going to bet 6 for the Proteas. He bet 6 for the VP Blitz because they crap. They don't have batters. That's why he bets there. He's not going to bet 6 for the Proteas.
They make
Come
a
on,
finals.
guys.
How they
No, come on, guys. I think I think we beat around the bush now, here, man. It's
No,
ridiculous.
I'm
No,
not.
it's- look,
No, I'm not.
No, no, guys.
All I said
Come on,
is,
guys. Cleveland
all
is a
I
gun
said
cricketer
is,
straight
when
up.
you-
He is
all-
absolutely gun. If you make a
I
poll
didn't
today
say
on
he's
Twitter,
not gun.
okay, Khalid.
You are not.
Okay, Khalid.
You are not listening
do
to
us-
me again. You just arguing your own points.
All of us on the
again.
fanatics, right? No. All of us on the fanatics, make a poll, say who's the better, who we think as fans should be playing. Is a second spin, give Linda or Bloemfontein. I can guarantee you 100%,
They're gonna say
but
Geoff Linde. Of
majority
course
would
they're gonna
say
say that.
exactly. So why don't
That
we
doesn't
go?
mean
So,
they're right.
no,
It
100%.
doesn't mean we're wrong.
look, that's never
100%.
how you
I'm not saying it's right.
But you are making it seem like we are wrong for saying that we think that
I'm
Bloemfontein
not-
is a
I'm
gun
not-
player as well. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not
So,
saying
okay,
that.
you wanna-
I categorically say that.
So first class cricket, right? Bloemfontein averages 29, batting at 8, right? And Mr. George Linde averages 31, batting at 5. Okay. You
Mr.
wanna look at
Jordan,
list
why
eight
say Mr. Jordan?
No, because of the way you are making it. You're putting the two players against each other when you shouldn't
Okay.
be doing that. You
Okay,
shouldn't
did
be
George
doing
Linde
that.
bet 6?
Okay.
Did
So
George Linde bet
let's
6
say
for his whole career in
let's-
domestic cricket
let's-
for the
let's-
Cobras?
let's say-
Did he bet
let's-
6?
majority of his career, yes.
No, he didn't.
Majority of his
Major-
career he batted up
When
the
he's
order.
okay. Nah, Khalid.
List
George
eight-
Linde
list
has
eight-
traveled up and down the order. He has had more opportunities to bat. That is a fact.
Because
He has
okay,
had more
okay,
time.
Kelly, come on, why? No, why? Why Salih Nakadin, a guy I know personally, right? Why would he think George Linde should bet at 6? Why? Because he clearly thinks the guy can bet his potential. He can bet
But
it.
that-
That's
I know
fine.
that.
That's
But
fine.
that doesn't.
mean
Yes, I
that
understand.
it's
That doesn't mean that
invalid
Bjorn doesn't have the
for us to
potential to bat.
argue what I'm saying.
Okay, now
But
why
that
doesn't the
doesn't-
Lions? Okay, now why doesn't the Lions push him up the order then?
Because you see the Lions' batting order. Have you seen the
come
Lions'
on.
batting attack? Bro,
The
come
If you
on.
back a
Lions-
guy, if you back a guy, you back a guy. If you back a guy, you back a guy. Period. 100%.
Oh,
I
goodness.
don't think you think that. You
it's
honestly
actually
think that.
not
You're
about
saying
this.
that to win a point. You told me bring up the
No,
stats.
I'm not saying that to win
Okay?
the point.
But you told me to bring up the stats and compare it, right?
No,
look at
don't.
that in list
No.
eight cricket.
Okay,
What?
now when it bring up the
Did you
stats,
not
don't
tell
say
me
you win a
that?
bet at 6.
No.
I
So
did
list
say to
eight
bring up the
cricket-
stats.
Well, okay. List A cricket, Bloemfontein averages 30 with a bat, right? Oh, wait, sorry. Am I looking at the wrong stats here? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong stats here. Okay, so completely, I'm looking at the wrong stats. So you're right, okay, with regards to that. Bloemfontein, I'm looking at the wrong stats completely. Okay, so my point over here, the point I was trying to make is that they can both be good. Linde's had more opportunities to bat up the order for his team, and Bloemfontein hasn't. What I did say is that in clutch moments, Bloemfontein has shown that he has ability for the bat. Bloemfontein will come on here and tell me the same thing. He will say that George Linde is a better batter than him. But I feel that under pressure situations, when I have to put the two together for a bowling position to do something for the team with a ball, I would most likely give it to Bloemfontein. I feel that he bowls better under pressure. But that doesn't mean that he's a better batter or better player or whatever the case may be. All I
didn't say that.
I feel no, but what I'm
You have been arguing that. It's the whole point.
all I wanted to say is that I feel that Bjorn plays better under pressure. That's all I want to say. That's
Okay.
all I wanted to say.
So we could.
But
So we could
I'm
say.
happy. I'm happy with you picking George. Oh, I said it from the start.
Yes, 100%,
Bjorn.
100%. I'm not saying.
happy with
Look,
Bjorn and
guys,
I'm
I'm
happy
not
with
saying. I'm not saying Bloemfontein is a crack cricketer. He should never play with Africa. I rate the guy. I played with him. I played against him when he was at Boys. He's a gun cricketer, right? I'm not saying he shouldn't play with Africa, right? But my point is this. Okay, can I make it another? And don't tell me about. I'm just gonna make an example here, right? A lot of us say, Abel de Villiers was this wonderful player for South Africa, which he 100% was for South Africa. But tell me, when in Crans games, when did he win games for us? When? Now that's
Safe
example.
game.
No, wait, Kelly. I'm not finished. Now that's the point I'm trying to make. Yes, 100%. You can do it at domestic level, right? Abel de Villiers in the IPL, how many times did he take RCB off the line? Probably 80% of the time. He was there at the end. He took them over the line, right? For the Proteas, in Crans games in World Cups, how many times was he there at the end, taking us to a World Cup final or World Cup semi-finals? Probably 30% of the time. I'm talking about. I'm making comparison.
He
I'm
was at
making a
the end
comparison
in test matches
in terms of
multiple times
class
as well.
moments. I'm making
Not
in
just
terms.
about World Cups.
No, Kelly, you don't get me, right? AB de Villiers is a wonderful cricketer. If he couldn't take South Africa over the line, AB de Villiers, yeah, we speak about arguably the best player in South Africa or in the world. We talk about AB de Villiers here, right? If he couldn't take South Africa over the line to go to a World Cup final or semi-final, né? And he did it in the domestic league in the IPL, yes, which is competitive, right? He did it there for RCB. He was there at the end all the time. Most of the time, he was there. AB de Villiers was there, scoring an 80 not out, a 90 not out, a 100 not out, or 30 not out. He was there at the end, taking them over the line, right? Now, you guys are telling me, because and this is the point I'm trying to make, because Bloemfontein, right, did it in a domestic league in South Africa, yes, all of us says that the domestic league is not competitive. It's not this, it is not that. If we take them over the line in a domestic league in South Africa in a One Day Cup or a T20 final, who's to say he can do it? When even the Villiers couldn't do it for the Proteas, who's to say he can come in and do it for the Proteas in a semi-final or in a quarter-final or in a crunch game where he should take us over the line? That's why I say you go with a better batsman that can give you more. There's more margin. There's more margin. That batter will succeed in that situation. That is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying Bjorn is a crack cricketer or he shouldn't be there, but that is my point on that. I'm not saying he's a crack cricketer, he shouldn't play there. I would go for as I said, both are good bowlers, good fielders, but George Lynn is the better batsman. And I would go with him. You guys would go with Bloemfontein, 100%. I agree with you. Not agree with you, but I can see you guys' point. But if you ask if you ask South Africa right now, who they would pick as a second spinner, come on, guys, they would take Linda all day of the week.
Yeah, and
Look,
go ahead, Kelly.
Sorry, the thing I was trying to say is that the one thing I'm not going to do is when I'm picking a bowling attack, I'm never going to look at their batting ability first, because you know what? You need to take the wickets to win the matches for the main part. Look, bowlers win you matches far
You
more
have to take
often
wickets,
than-
he's gone. Come on.
But
Come on, guys.
No, he takes wickets. But
Come on, guys.
Bloemfontein's ability
Jeez.
to outthink a batsman
Jeepers.
has been immense lately. I just think he's just a touch better and probably going to be
A
able
touch.
to.
So that means George is still good though. With the ball as well. So you can pick him as a frontman bowler as well.
Like, can you please just wait? I was quite.
But can you agree George can play as a frontman spinner as well? Leave batting alone. He can play as a frontman spinner as well.
Lorenzo, let us speak as well. She let you speak. She let you speak. Bro, she let you speak.
Please just wait.
You guys make it speak a little waff here, man.
Lorenzo, please. I was watching. I've seen a lot of both bowlers in domestic cricket since they've started playing. I don't always trust George Linder to come and bowl consistently as a strike bowler, if you know what I mean, as a strike throw left arm. I don't think he's got the same, sort of ability to come on for a short spell and take wickets. You know that short tour of a spell you need to break a partnership.
Yeah.
That golden arm spell. I think that as a strike bowler, in those moments when you need wickets, I think Bloemfontein has delivered so far, especially of late in the past couple of seasons. I don't look at batting ability first when I'm picking bowlers, especially the first four bowlers, maybe the all-rounder spots. That's why I'm thinking that Geoff Linder will play if there are two spinners, because he'd be playing for that all-rounder spot.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then you're saying it is between them and it's about their batting, but it isn't. I think bowlers, for picking bowlers, I'm looking at their bowling ability and how they fit into the team and what balance they're going to give you first. The bowling attack needs to be balanced as well. You can't just stack your batting and then expect it to win every game. You need your bowlers to be able to take wickets. There is a patient, like I'm almost done. And it is actually, I can't remember who said it, but it's a coaching mantra that you don't pick your bowlers according to batting ability first. Their batting is a bonus. Especially when And I know that is fundamental in Test cricket first, but it stretches throughout all the formats. I mean, Parwell's success in those matches, when George Linder made runs for MI Cape Town against SEC, did they win? No. They didn't. And did he take wickets and win them the game?
Okay.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
That's just
Can
an
I
example.
respond?
He isn't always a match winner. He's not always a match winner. So the thing is, you can go either or. But I'm going to always think about their bowling ability and how they're going to fit in with the rest of the team first, the balance. And the bowling is going to come first by a long way.
Okay. So by your point,
And
by your logic,
we should be arguing and having a poll on who's the better batter because they are bowlers.
Okay. So by your logic, then whenever a player in South Africa scores 100 in losing course, we mustn't applaud that, right? Because he scored 100 or he scored a 50 or scored a 40. So we can't applaud that because it was a losing course. It's a losing course, right? But okay, let's leave. Okay, let's leave that. Let's leave that.
No,
right?
not exactly. No. You can't
No,
just
but
make
that's
it.
but that's what she's alluding to.
No,
so George Linder, right?
not
In the
exactly.
games.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
George's Linder's
Can
job
I-
is to finish games for his team. That's his job as a batter.
But he often
Okay.
doesn't bowl his full quota of overs. So, like as Khalid
You can
said,
see it in the
his job
stats.
is
You can
to
see it in the
bat.
stats with the bowling as well. If I go look at the format, if I go look at the formats of George, I'm comparing the bowling. What I was wrong to say about the batting because I got the averages. I was looking at the bowling averages and I made a
Yeah.
mistake because I'm really
You did.
tired, of course. And I don't think I've never ever thought that Bjorn's a better batter than George. That's not my argument at all, right? My point was that I pick the bowlers first, and then I will look at the batting ability after. And I feel that in clutch moments, Bjorn has won games for his team in finals, etc., domestically.
Okay.
And I know domestic cricket and domestic cricket and international cricket is different, but they still
Yes.
it's still a final. It's still the ability to take your team over the line. It's still one of the match performances. All of those things do count with regards to mentality. It's like with Ronaldo and with Messi when they're playing different leagues and stuff like that, and you're comparing international to obviously other domestic football. You maybe can't look at it the same way. But when I'm
Yeah.
talking about with regards to cricket, when I look at the bowling between the two players, like I look at Bloemfontein in T20 cricket or in ODI cricket, for example. Yes, he's only played 3 matches. You can't really look at. He's only played 3 matches. So in ODIs, but in T20s he's played 13 games. He's taken 14 wickets and his average is 19.28 and his economy is 6.58. With regards to George Linder, George Linder's played 14 games, taken 15 wickets, 22 average, 7 economy, right? With regards to List A cricket, if we're talking white ball cricket over here, George, 80 games, 109 wickets, 28 average, 5.26 economy, and a strike rate of 33.00. And then you look at someone like Bloemfontein, you got 79, similar amount of matches, 79 matches, 18.26 average, a strike rate of 83.55, and an economy rate of, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong stats again because they swapped the bloody bowling and batting. 79 matches, an average of 30, and an economy rate of 4.67, and 92 wickets in those amount of games, right? Then you look at the T20 stats over here. Bloemfontein 100 games, 122 wickets, average of 18.29, economy of 6.35, strike rate of 17.2. If you look at George Linder over here, he's got 132 games, 127 wickets, 24 average, and 7.35 economy rate and a strike rate of 20.3. So
That's a
in
big
majority
difference.
and that's a big difference with regards to strike rates, with regards to averages, with regards to all of those type of things. That plays a massive role with regards to picking your bowler.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So with George
Okay.
Linder, you have to. What I want you to, if you can do this for me, and we can maybe do this, go and look at George Linder's stats with regards to how many times he's. Because if we're going to bat him at 7 or 8, we're going to need him to obviously take us over the line in crunch situations, and we have to go look at how many times he's actually done that for these domestic teams. Because it's you have to make sure that they have done. That's why I always used to talk about Temba when I said, but he's taking us over. He's taking us in, scored big runs in finals. Because finals are the crunch moments. Finals are the times. That's the only way you can prove it. I mean, A final is a final. The pressure of a final is a final, no matter what the level you play. Yes, the final in the World Cup is obviously a lot bigger.
I
and a lot
agree,
more
Khalid,
pressure.
but the
I will take a
performances
player
leading
that
up
is
to the
one
final also
more.
counts, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't count. It's not like Bloemfontein doesn't bowl doesn't do bowl well in majority of finals. Look at the Lions. Majority of the games for the Lions, like if I look at let me just go look. I haven't looked at it before, but if I look at the amount of matches Bloemfontein has played with a bat, right, in domestic cricket, and how many innings has he actually batted, right? Because they show the matches, but people don't look at the innings. So in list A cricket, he's played 79 matches, but he's only batted in 60 innings.
Yes, because it slow down the order.
Yes, exactly. So he hasn't really had the opportunity to show that.
But you can't compare them because
that's why I'm not comparing. But that's why
We're
I'm not
comparing
exactly. I'm not comparing it. That's why I said specifically, I'm not comparing their batting. When I'm picking my bowling attack at 8, I'm going to pick the better bowler in my opinion. But that doesn't mean I'm right. So
yes,
with you're rather going to pick a longer batting lineup, and that's okay.
Yes,
that's okay.
Okay, but can I just come
That's
to a
all I'm
point
saying.
Kelly made,
Both
right?
is okay.
Yeah, Kelly said something about George Linder's not. If you look at compare Bloemfontein and George Linder, Bloemfontein is more attacking, right? That's what he said, right? In terms of that. But let's be honest. Wait, but you said George Linder is not more for attacking bowler. That's what you said. We can run it back, and that's 100% what you said, right? No, that's what you said.
I said it's a big difference in their strike rates. It is. Between
Kelly, when you made your point, you said Linder is not more. It's not more for attacking bowler than Bloemfontein, right? So why does he need to be attacking when Samsey? When we all say Samsey is this attacking bowler, right, at the other end, then you don't need Linder to also be attacking. So then he can be more defensive, maybe. Then he will do much better if he's more defensive. When you have, if we're talking World Cup right now, when we're gonna play two spinners, let's not get it twisted here. In the World Cup, we're playing two spinners, right? Sam's at the other end, attacking, right? Now if Linder this in, just blocking the batsman down, giving him the singles, but taking the strike 100%, that's what we want. So why should Linder also now be attacking bowler when he also can go for runs, right? That doesn't make sense. So that,
but look at the economy rates.
No, let me can I complete my point, please?
Yeah, let him finish.
Can I finish? Kelly, can I finish, please, man? Right? So, Linder is bogging the batsmen down. They're getting the 1-5 over 4 over. That's good for us. Tabarai Samji attacking at the other end. Yes, he may go for a few runs in a few overs, but he's taking wickets. So, Linder is doing his job this side. And I agree, Bloemfontein can also do their job. He can also tie up and this in while Tabarai Samji is taking wickets at the other end. But the crux of the matter is when we go bat, Linder can give you more output than a Bloemfontein. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's what I'm not saying Bjorn is a crack cricketer. I'm just saying both of them can do a similar job, but Linder gives you more output because there's a guy at the other end, which Khalid at the top of his associate, is an attacking spinner, which I agree 100%. He take wickets and he's gonna go for runs. But you have Gian or Bjorn here that can tie up and in, but Linder is the better. So who are you going to pick? You're going to pick the better that can give you more output in terms of the batting department of the game. Because both of them do a similar job with the ball. They tie up an end. Come on, guys, man.
Well, Bloemfontein manages to tie up the end as well as take the wickets. Similar.
Oh, okay. So Linder doesn't take wickets then.
Linder's strike rate is higher.
Come on, we're gonna go stats. You guys come on Twitter and say don't look at overall stats. Look at current stats. Come on, guys.
Are you talking about? No, I'm not talking about batting. I'm not talking about when I was mentioning strike rates. When I was
okay, what I'm saying, Khalid, is that we love doing.
I was talking about bowling strike rates.
No, I know you were talking about. No, Khalid, I know you were talking about bowling strike, but Kelly was talking about attacking and defensive. Both of them can be attacking spinners, but Kelly, can I finish? Both of them can be attacking spinners, and both of them can be defensive spinners. You can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me otherwise because wait, Kelly.
I never said that you couldn't do it.
Okay, Khalid, do me a favor, right? We can run this back, and you will see what Kelly meant. Because I wrote, you know what I actually did? I wrote it down on a piece of paper just to get back to that point. What Kelly spoke about, right? My point I'm trying to make is right. Both of them can be attacking.
Though, her point.
No, okay. Can I just?
No.
Can I just? Can I just? No, come on. Don't be like this, man. Can I just show you? No. Can I repeat
But it's
myself?
only
Maybe
fair
you
that
understand
both
what.
people speak, though.
No,
It's only
she can
fair
also
that both
speak.
speak.
She can also
Okay,
speak,
so
Khalid.
finish your
Khalid.
point and then allow it to speak, okay?
Yes, right. The point I'm trying to make is I'm going to start from the beginning again. Both can play a defensive role and both can play attacking role. But why should both? Why should they play an attacking role? As you said on the top of the show, and I agree with you. Every cricket fan every cricket fan who understands cricket will testify that Tabray Samji is an attacking spinner. He's going to take wickets. He's going to go for runs. 100%, I agree with you, right? So he's attacking on this side. So why do we need George Linder? Like Kelly said, that, oh no, he's not an attacking spinner, or he's not an attacking spinner. But the thing is this, it doesn't need to be an attacking spinner. Why should it be an attacking spinner? Where he can just bowl the ball in the right area, go for 4 runs, 5 runs and over, do a job, and comes in later and bang. You can't tell me 20 runs of 12 balls is not going to make a difference. 30 runs, 40 runs, 50 runs is not going to make a difference, because that is the output George Linder can give you. That is what I'm saying. Both can do a similar role, be defensive spinners, and they can attack. George Linder also take wickets when he attacks. He goes for runs, but he takes wickets. Similarly, Bloemfontein goes for runs when he attacks, but he takes wickets. But the better batsman at the end of the day who's going to give you more output with a bat is Linder. And why would you not go that route? It just makes logically sense. Come on, guys. If you play 2 spinners, the one attacks it out in, the one ties up a knot here, and the one who ties up a knot can bat as well. Come on, guys. It's easy.
It's not always
Kelly?
as clear cut as that. I've also never said that Linder can't attack. I've just said that Bloemfontein gives you the option, and he has done it more often, of coming in, especially in the middle of an innings for short spells and making breakthroughs. He can do the holding role just as well. And I'm looking purely at their bowling. I'm not focusing so much on the batting because I want to select bowlers because they can bowl.
Kelly, Kelly, to be honest, you don't believe.
Lorenzo, wait, man. Let her speak, because you had a chance to speak, bro.
If we are looking at the all-rounder role, then I have been advocating for George Linder for ages to play in the current ODI side in the all-rounder role. So as a 5th option, I was not looking at his bowling ability. I was looking at the balance of the team and the fact that we aren't sure about what their actual form is. If we know what the form of the batsman is going into the World Cup, if we are comfortable with their, if they're all batting well, if we are comfortable with their finishing ability, if everything is starting to click, I'm certainly not going to look at which bowler is going to give me the better backup, especially if you're including somebody like Marco Jansen. So you've already got a bowler who can bat and one who can finish 10 overs. So we need 50 overs. Hopefully, we don't have to rely too much on Aiden Markin. And I'm worried that if you play someone like George Linder, he doesn't often finish his quota of overs in a T20. So I'm worried that, as a specialist bowler, some of the responsibility is now going to fall on Aiden's shoulders, which then restricts your ability to, pick which batsman you want, because now you're going to have to pick another batsman who can bowl a little bit to make up for those bowlers who cost you runs. Who aren't taking wickets.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to move on from this conversation.
Purely, my 5 bowlers are ideally picked on bowling ability first. I'm not arguing that he is a poor bowler or a poor option. I've been advocating for him. But the fact is, it would be something I'd use as a backup, his batting ability, if I'm unsure of the form of the batsman. But in a perfect scenario, I'm looking purely at the bowling ability, and he's pipped by Fontaine because we do have another bowler who can bat.
Okay, I'm going to move on from this conversation, guys. It's 2 different opinions. No one's right or no one's wrong over here. It's up to the selectors to select who they to select. I don't mind either or, me personally, but let's move on from this conversation. Thanks a lot, Lorenzo, for calling in. Bro, please call in again. I'd like to chat to you again, brother. Thank you, Kelly, also for having your say. I just want you to have your final say about this game. Let's move on from this conversation, Kelly. I want to read some of the comments as well. If you guys want to just put some of your comments in the comment section. Someone, Neil Governor said, Shane Warne said spinners should be able to spin the ball.
Well, actually, to be fair, He said the one that keeps straight is also a weapon.
Yeah, true. And people asking me about the domestic batting and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about. I wasn't necessarily arguing the batting component of the game. I was just talking about pressure situations, mentality-wise. Me personally. Okay, so let's move on from this. What is your guys' thoughts on? What is your thoughts on your final thoughts on this particular match for the next game? Is there any changes maybe that you're going to make? We will do a preview show ahead of the next game though to talk about the lineup, etc. But let's just get your final thoughts on the game today, please.
Look, I like the batting combinations up to number 6. I think I'd keep them. I want them to bat as much as possible. I think, especially, hopefully they converse in the next games. All of them got starts, other than Aiden. I wanted a double all-rounder in the middle. That was my main argument for Linda in the on Twitter, because I wanted to see all-rounders in the middle. I wasn't sure of the batting form because Temba hadn't batted in a month, and Quinton had been off the boil, and Rusty wasn't looking himself. So, you want a reinforcement then. The bowling I would change. I really do think KG needs a rest. I'm not sure slow left arm suits. I know people want Marash in for Shamsi, and I'm pretty sure he'd do it. There's only other spinning option, and I'm sure he'd do an acceptable job. But traditionally, and look, this is the time when they prove you wrong. Traditionally, Bloemfontein is not kind to slow left arm bowlers. Not South African ones in any event. That's why I initially picked in my 11 win for Shamsi ahead of him. So I might give Shamsi another run, but I wouldn't mind if Maharaj came in. It's just a statistic about Bloemfontein that I'd rather keep in mind. I
kind of feel, Kelly, that I kind of feel that people underestimate the importance of a wrist spinner. And I've seen a lot of people comparing wrist spinners to the leg spinners and kind of making them like they can be like interchangeable. Which I don't necessarily agree with personally. What's your thoughts on that?
No, they're not. I can understand them bringing in Maharaj for Shamsi from a control point of view, because you don't know what you're going to get with Shamsi. But the thing is, Shamsi has the ability to turn the game on its head as a wrist spinner that most slow left armers don't always have, and as the format gets longer, a lot of them make short, sharp impacts. Shamsi can bowl more. I mean, if he gets into his groove, he's going to take a load of wickets. He always does. He either takes nothing, being expensive, or he gets into his groove and he gets 4 or 5. And if Shamsi bowls well, we won't lose. I don't think when Shamsi's gotten a lot of wickets, I think we've rarely lost. I can't remember. I mean, I'm speaking offhand here, but I can't remember a time when Shamsi has taken wickets and at a high rate where we've actually really lost the game comprehensively. It doesn't come to mind. So he is a match winner as an X-Factor player. And Bloemfontein is not kind to bowlers as is. So it is a risk to play him, but you should also bear in mind that history isn't kind to slow left armers there. So Kesh would have to prove, the history of South African cricket pretty wrong. It looks like they'll probably only do the one all-rounder. So I'd like to see Lungi if he is fit. Magala bowled well. So Kesh / Shamsi. KG out to rest. Nokia. Janssen. And Magala.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
between Magala, I think previously I was going on, international. I was wondering whether they would go with international experience and that in favor Parnell over Magala. But I think in this match, Magala has definitely outballed Parnell, and he can bat. It's not really, you're not really suffering too much in that regard. I know with having Lungi and Shamsi, you've got a 10 and 11 who can't bat at all. That's the thing. That's the only real risk behind it. But if this game was anything to go by, it's not going to get anywhere near those numbers. Hopefully, I mean the bowlers certainly weren't going to bat in this game.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. Please come on the previews of the next game so that we can chat that a little bit more in depth and get your lineups and your reasons for it. But thanks a lot for coming on the show and keeping your cool as well as you did.
Well, trying. Look, it's not a problem I had. It was just a bit of a twisting of the words. Look, I mean, I would prefer Linda in this situation as an all-rounder, but if I'm picking my, ideal 11, it's a question of bowling first. The all-rounder spot is, conditions and team balance dependent. That's where I think Linda would come in. But I think purely on bowling, as right now, Fontaine is bowling with such confidence, and he's taking wickets at clutch moments, and it's difficult to separate them, and I can understand arguing for them, but I want to see the team that they're playing in. The team balance has to make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That's what I was trying to explain to people to Lorenzo on Twitter, and it was just not getting. Not only to him, someone else was also arguing with me, but I was trying to explain it on Twitter that it's about balancing conditions and all of those type of things you take into account. They're asking me to pick just purely on one player to player, and that's not how cricket works. It's not football.
No, it isn't.
I'm not gonna. So that's what I was trying to explain. But anyway, thanks a lot, Kelly. I'll chat to you again very soon.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Okay,
Okay, chat soon.
Okay, cool. See you. Bye. Okay, guys, that's the review of this show. I'm sorry that it went a bit out of hand. I tried to control it as best as possible. I'm sorry also that it went a little bit off course from the actual match. I mean, congratulations to the Proteas for winning this match. It should have been about this victory. I'm not talking about players outside of the squad. It's a pity that it got to that, and I apologize. I'm going to handle that a little bit better in the future and the way I monitor that, and be a little bit more stern when it comes to that, and a little bit more, maybe a little bit more aggressive with regards to stopping people from going too far with arguments and etc. I'll try to be a little bit better with that. I'm learning about these things. The scoring shows is new. You never know what's going to happen. It started off so well, and then it just took a dive. It was also partly my fault for reading out because on the Crick Info, they have the bowling averages first for Bjorn, because he's obviously a bowling all-rounder. And then they have the batting for George Linder first, because he's a batting all-rounder according to them. So they don't have it in the same order. And I need to keep the topic better. That was supposed to be the point of this particular show. So I'm going to take, for the last bit of the show, guys, I've got a little bit more of time. I hope that I'm not going to die here with regards to battery. If you see me get up quickly to go run inside, that's because I want to go get the charger for my battery. Let me see if I can get that so long so that when the lights go on, then I can still stay live with you guys, because I want to continue this conversation. We have some more time. I want to make this a little bit of a longer stream. So let me just get that in order. Wow. Okay, we're back. Ooh, let's get into this conversation now, guys. Let's talk about the game. Okay, let's talk about this games. We're 14. Oh, okay. Let's not continue this conversation now. We've done with that one. Will Faf come in a limited over setup? Has Faf dropped a hint? He hasn't dropped a hint yet. I haven't spoken to him about it yet. When I see him in Joburg, hopefully, cross fingers, if I go to Joburg and I see him, then I will do so. Khalid, what backup should we have for Markham going forward for the World Cup? His failure seems to be a mystery in international ODIs, but we need a batter who is a sixth bowler as well. See, that's the issue with Markham at the moment. His form in ODIs doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what to put my finger on. Like his dismissal today, if in my opinion, was purely because I felt that he hit the ball. He was hitting the ball too hard. Him and Klaassen, I think both, they were trying to force the ball through the gaps rather than place the ball through the gaps and let it run away to the boundary. They kind of were pushing hard at the ball, hitting the ball very hard. You saw Klaassen's couple of first shots. He was hitting it pretty hard, and he wasn't necessarily trying to guide it into the gaps like for example Rassi was doing, like for example Miller was doing to an extent, as well as the opening batters were trying to do that too. They were trying to place. The cock didn't go there swinging. I mean, even his dismissal, he didn't try to completely whack the ball. He wanted to guide it with a pull shot, but it was the wrong shot to play. So Klaassen was hitting the ball pretty cleanly towards the end, but when he started off, he was trying to hit the ball quite hard, where he just needed to nudge the ball around, run a couple of singles, get the ball on the ground and hit it into the gaps. So I don't know what's wrong with Aiden, because Aiden's been going out the same way. He's been getting himself out. That's legitimately what he was doing. It's not like the bowlers getting him out. It's legitimately him getting himself out, which is the shock for me, because when he bats domestically, the guy is insane. He doesn't seem to have the same issues. Now, yes, I know that it's different levels and different pressure, etc. But this is not a pressure situation type of failure for me, I think, when it comes to Aiden Markram. It's not a pressure thing that he's failing to. I feel he's getting himself out. And batting with hard hands in today's game got him out. So that's my opinion on what Markram had to say. Pollock on air mentioned Markram holds the bat like squeezing a glue. He might want to loosen his grip a bit. That's an interesting point as well, I think. Definitely is an interesting point when it comes to that. Like I said, he's hitting the ball a little bit too hard, and I feel that he should loosen his grip a bit when it comes to that. Let's move on from that. I don't know why my computer's running a bit slow now. This load shedding is really irritating me, honestly, guys. I'm sure it's irritating everybody, but it's irritating me a lot because I want to be streaming and I want to be live with you guys and do these shows, and then load shedding just knocks me around. Will Janneman get any game time anytime soon? I mean, I'm a big Janneman Malan fan, and a lot of you might not think so, because I'm trying to be as objective as possible when I'm analyzing certain things. I'm trying to be objective as possible. I don't want to be biased, because if I was biased, I would just pick all my favorite players in the team, and none of them would be players that you'd probably want to see in the team. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, using the little knowledge that I do have on cricket, and trying to give my opinion. It doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that my opinion's right. Opinions can be wrong, guys. That's a rule in life that we all need to learn. Facts are facts, and opinions are opinions, and opinions can be wrong. That's how things work in life. When it comes to Janneman, because we're playing in India, I still have a little bit of a fear personally with Janneman when it comes to spin bowling, when it comes to him playing against spin, and when it comes to him playing against swing. He's very good on the high felt in Centurion, on flat wickets. Like today, I think he would have batted really well. I mean, previously on this ground, he scored 129 to, I think, not out, to win us a game against Australia and take us over the line. So I do think he would have been able to bat well. But like I said about the partnership is important at the top of the order more than actually the individuals. And sometimes people think that if you just put two good individuals up top, they're going to automatically perform. Now, I know I can't cross sport, but look at England in football over the past years. They had Gerrard and Lampard and Scholes, and they could never make it work. Three of the best English midfielders and possibly midfielders that ever played the game in the modern era, I would say. So they couldn't make that work because they just couldn't fit. Now in cricket, similarly with the opening partnerships specifically, I look at partnerships at yes, partnerships in every single part of the game, but I think the most important partnership is your opening partnership. Your two batters need to complement each other and play off each other and have an understanding. And personality comes through there too. Temperament comes through as well. Character comes through because there's a lot of pressure on openers to perform. And when you lose an early wicket, you're putting a hell of a lot of pressure on your team. And opening batters know that every time they walk out to the middle. So you want your partners to be able to feed off each other. Now, when it comes to Quinny and Yanaman and Temba and Yanaman, I feel that Temba brings the best out of Quinny in that situation. If you want to drop one of them, I think it's between Quinny and Yanaman actually, because both of them are type of players that can hit the ball hard, that can be your guys that push the game forward, and your accumulator at the other end is Temba Bavuma. Although in today's game, it looked like he's trying to transform his game a little bit and the way he approaches his game. I do think that we'll see Yanaman soon. I don't think this is the end for Yanaman at all. I don't think that that's how it works completely. I do think there's still time for Yanaman. He's still young. He's not an old batter. He's still young. And remember, Temba Bavuma is 32. We're looking for some solidity and experience in the top of the order at the moment, and I feel that he can play there. I even think that in ODI cricket, Yanaman could bat possibly 3. He doesn't have to open the batting with the way he bats, the style he bats with. He could possibly bat 3 as well, but at the moment, Rassie van der Distance keeps him out of the spot. He could also possibly bat 4. But I don't know if Yanaman's going to come out in the middle overs when they spin and try to take the game on, which was the majority of the times our number 4s do find themselves in those situations, like Aiden found himself in the situation today. So it's difficult with Yanaman. We're going to have to wait and see what happens over there. And we also have to wait and watch how our captain performs as well. Can we get Markram on the show and try to understand what's happening with him? I will try to do so, but it can only be after the SA20. We won't be able to get him now during the series. They're very strict with regards to exclusive interviews at the moment. And also with SA20, we don't get any exclusive interviews, unfortunately. I've asked plenty of times, and it hasn't been possible with the schedules. And also, certain coaches don't also want necessarily their players to go to interviews and things like that. They want them to focus on the game with a quick turnaround of fixtures. Klaassen batted really well. He just plays one bad shot and got out. But then we must say the same thing for Aiden. We must say the same thing for Temba. We must say the same thing for Quinny too, because they batted really well too and then got themselves out. I mean, actually, out of the 3 of them, Temba Bavuma actually had the better strike rate today's game. End of the road for Yanaman? I don't believe that's the end of the road for Yanaman. I honestly don't. I think there's plenty of opportunities for him to still get his form back and come back into the team, sort out his issues, and still make it to play for South Africa. I don't think this is the end of the road. In cricket, you can also have multiple different opinions that can be right for a variety of reasons. There is no one formula for a winning team. Spot on, otherwise everybody would be winning World Cups. We've seen even great coaches lose World Cups. Look at a perfect example is Gary Kirsten. Gary Kirsten won the World Cup with India, and he's hailed a hero in India. They see him as a legend there. But for South Africa, he couldn't even get us close. Oh, that's a good example. There's no one formula. There's a lot of different things that are involved with cricket. Like, for example, with one player A and player B, there might be certain situations, certain games, certain scenarios where player A they can be exactly the same type of player on paper. But in certain scenarios, player A will strive and I'll play player A. But in other scenarios, I will rather pick player B, and player B will get me over the line. That's why you have a squad, and that's why you pick an 11 based on conditions. Things can change before a game, and you can drop anybody and bring anybody in or out. This is how cricket works. Kelly, there is surely not one formula, but cricket is changing. You need to score fast, and batter needs to cushion of capable batters at 7 and 8. Yes, we do need capable batters at 7 and 8. I do agree with you over there. But we have plenty of all-rounders in the country that are really, really good batters and can bowl too. There are a lot of them coming through the system when it comes to those things. So, for example, Marco Jansen at the moment is batting amazingly in clutch situations. So he's our best all-rounder currently, I feel, in this current squad with the bat. So when I'm thinking of number 7s with the bat, at the number 7 position, I think of batting first. At number 8 position, I think of bowling first, and then bat. If he can bat, it's a bonus. That's how my mind thinks when I put together a cricket team for the balance of the team. I try look at DSG. They pick 9 batters in the team. Doesn't mean they're batting better, is it? That's a very good example. Actually, it's actually the perfect example. I only thought about it now. DSG picks 9 batters in the team. They're batting from number 3. They have an all-rounder right through. There's all-rounders right until the bottom, but they're the worst team in the league at the moment in the SA20. So just because you pick 9 batters, 10 batters, 11 batters, doesn't mean you're going to automatically win the game and bat better. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a lot of things that we need to think about when it comes to selection and players. Janneman is too slow for the middle overs. You're correct there in saying that. You are correct. That's why I was saying when he does bat and he comes in, there's going to be spin on. It depends who's bowling in the middle overs. If he's on a wicket at the Wanderers and there's no spinner picked, or only one spinner picked, that won't bog the Janneman down. He can play kind of attacking. Janneman is coming across as slow to me because of he's opening the batting against bowlers that are just fantastically world class, that can really pin you back in a power play. Something that we didn't do today with the ball, I feel. And England did do quite well. They bowled really well, actually. Karen was used very well today. I mean, even Jofra Archer went for loads of runs. Laugh out loud, you guys will crap, marking him out, play nice, no shouting at him. Yeah, no, don't crap him. I like marking him. Don't come hard at him, mate. That's my buddy. That. Who are those, Khalid? Not seen much at SA20. Yeah, but you can't take SA20 as the full product of domestic cricket in South Africa. Bro, to be 100% honest with you, not all the best players in our domestic system have been picked at the SA20. Don't be fooled. There are a lot of average players from South Africa that have also been picked in this tournament that didn't deserve to get an opportunity to be picked. So, for example, Jordan Herman didn't get picked up in the normal auction. He got picked up as a wild card, which is wild cards were only added afterwards. So ultimately, he didn't get picked up in this tournament. And look what he's doing now, guys. So our best players didn't get picked up in the auction. Not all of our best players got picked up in the auction. And also remember, a lot of their spots are taken by overseas players that were either pre-bought or they were bought in the auction. So there are some guys that are all-rounders that are coming through the system that I feel can knock on the door. I think Evan Jones hasn't really shown it, but he has the ability. I think that Vian Mulder has been showing his mettle, doing pretty okay. I think that Marco Jansen at the moment is brilliant. Yes, Tolano Potgieter got picked. A lot of us think that he's a good player, but and I believe it too. He just hasn't come to the fold at MI Cape Town yet, but he will soon. I can't really think of a whole lot of ones right now. I am quite tired thinking about this. DSG have also been dismissed less than 100 twice. That is very, very, very true. Can England please, can the Proteas go through the World Cup without playing a qualifier? Of course, by whitewashing England. Yes, 100% by whitewashing England. Okay, the best chance is to win all 5 games remaining. If they lose one in this series, then they need to win the rest and hope that other results go their way, etc. Dick says we need someone like Ryan McLaren. How good is Vian Lubber? Exactly. There's another batter that can bowl. So yeah, there's plenty of talent that is putting up their hands and showing what they are capable of. The only concern is that Marco Curran doesn't look as good as a bowler in white ball as he is in red ball. I think that was Shukri's concern when picking Parnell in this game between him and Parnell. I think that might have been his concern, that he's going to need his bowlers, and he was right. He was going to need his bowlers today. I think if Marco tightens up his bowling and bowls a little bit more into the body of the batter, cramping him for space, that's his best option on wickets like this today. It also depends on conditions and where they're going to play. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. We're going to do a preview show for you ahead of the next game, of course. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Congratulations to the Proteas today. They were excellent. They showed an excellent fighting spirit to win this game. And I think it was a fantastic game. Yeah, I think it was a fantastic game. Really, for the fans, it was brilliant. Subscribe to the channel, please. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, and do all of those things. Also, download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Also, you can become a Patreon today. Click the link on the screen as well as in the description, or go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates, reports, etc. I'm going to go put up the report now. I'm a little bit late because I was live when the report was sent through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Hopefully it is tomorrow, I think, for another daily show to preview the next game. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.